Um, so this post-lunch session is always the toughest one when everyone's falling asleep. So I hope we're keeping you entertained. And we're looking forward to lots of questions from the panel. So my name is Ravi Sikand. I'm a director in financial advisory at Deloitte. So I can turn that down a bit. And what we do is a couple of things. Firstly, we help companies raise capital. So I'm going to talk about my session here about what investors like to see when they're looking at companies from an equity perspective. We also help companies raise debt, and we work with government in terms of PPPs and concessions and things of that nature, but I won't go into that. A lot of the session today has been around policy, enabling environment, and I think when you look at where East Africa is, we really punch well above our weight in terms of Africa, which is a great thing, and we've come a long way. We've got some very talented people. We've got a good environment that is going to grow and get better as things like Konza come on, smarter cities, our ICT policy. But let's focus on what makes a good export ICT sector, and that's a private company. And all companies, for the most part, need capital to grow. So either you're going to generate it from your own cash flow, or you're going to go to the market to raise funding. And if I ask most people here, and if they, how many of you have tried to raise funding and have you found it easy? Most people will probably say no. And if there are investors here and I ask them, have you been able to find deals? And they'll probably say no. It's difficult. So, where's the middle ground? And I think some of the presentations we've heard and we will hear kind of tease out some of those issues. So just so you're aware from the panelists, we have a very early stage company. We have a company that's been around for 14 years or so. And we have a company that's new in the market that has just done an acquisition, that is looking to do acquisitions. So, a good variety of technology companies sitting here. So let me just touch on what an investor would look at. And this goes into the thinking and the planning wherever you are in the cycle, whether you're an early stage company that's looking for growth capital, for a company that's looking to exit, or a company that's looking to partner. First is the people. What is the experience of the people? Are they focused on the job? Do they know what they want to try and achieve in 3 to 5 years? You need to be able to articulate that. Do you have the required skills both from a technology point of view to actually make a product that can go through the testing successfully, the marketing and the sales to know who your customer is, and the finance to actually manage the growth of the business? The other thing you should always think about is how you surround yourself with a solid board and advisors who can really contribute based on either experience or sector knowledge to the growth of your business. The other aspect is product, but I think most of my colleagues here will talk about product more than I will, but really it's about, is it relevant in today's market? Is it sustainable in tomorrow's market? Are you creating a product that's defensible? And again, it's got to be quality, because once someone uses it, doesn't work, then you lose a customer. The other aspect is your business plan or your strategic plan and your financial plan. It has to be robust. Detailed thinking in terms of your understanding of where you want to take that business. This is the tool you communicate with to the financial markets or the investors. And most of the companies in this sector are fairly young, and they use the debt or the equity to fund their working capital and investment. So cash flow is really king here. And what the investors want to know is actually how soon you get to cash flow positive and how defensible you are to get to that position. And I think if any of my colleagues here have raised capital, they'll share a bit more on that. Of course, there are two types of capital you can raise. One is equity, where you give away a share of your company, and debt, where you take a loan of some sort. In the tech sector, in the early stage, debt is usually not found unless you're making a heavy investment in some sort of capital. The other aspect is your customers. You got to know who they are. You got to know who's buying, who's not sleeping at night because they don't have your product. You need to understand how to sell that product. You got to be very clear on your value proposition. And the most important thing is your customers are risk adverse. When you bring in a new product or a new market, your customers are very risk adverse. I'm going to tell you a story. I was at an innovation conference some years ago in an overseas market, and Yellow Pages, like these guys, were the sponsors of the event, and they had given a large prize to the most innovative product. And the winner was selected, and the winner happened to be a directory management system. So the guy got the check, said thank you. A few weeks later, he went to the CEO of the Yellow Pages and said, listen, I won the prize, my product is recognized. Will you try my product? And the guy was told, actually, we're not sure because we only buy products that have been tested, that are validated in the market. So while he won the prize giver, who was spending the money on the prize, actually was not willing to test his product. So you got to be very, very clear. But once you get there, and you start getting the customers, then everything is great. The final thing that your investors are going to look at is the exit. How do you exit? When do you exit? As the original founders, are you staying in the business? Are you going to continue to grow the business? And you yourself have to recognize, are you the kind of person who's going to take the business to the next level? Are you the guy who's got the right management skills or the technical skills to take it? So you build that into your planning and your thinking. It's not something we do very commonly in this market, but in most of the global markets, you will find that very common. Here we tend to say, I've built a business, I'm going to be with it for 20 years, wherever it goes. But I think we need to understand, if you want to build a good export-oriented ITC sector, we've got to bring the right skill sets into the business at the right time. And I think those are probably just a few guiding principles I wanted to share on what it takes to raise capital as a growth business. Complemented with my colleagues here, are going to talk about it from the coalface, and then we'll be happy to take some questions of the panel.